Alright, so hello and welcome to today's BossConstructor development stream. Today I actually do not have like a specific goal what I want to create today, but rather a sort of a collection of small stuff. Good evening, Kuston. Yeah, to be precise, we're going to do some bug fixes. We're going to prevent ships spawning on asteroids and mines, which I wanted to do for some time now. And we're going to analyze recent player statistics. Yeah, so basically I'm sort of interested in the question if the general difficulty curve has improved now, since I've done some balancing patches, and if players, how should I put it, if players have a good time basically playing on normal difficulty, and yeah, and maybe we can update some particle effects, but I'm not entirely sure if we will have time to do that. I mean, it depends of course on how fast we are with the bug fixes. Alright, so there are basically two bugs reported in the forum which I want to fix, which is one bug regarding save games and being unable to delete existing saves. Since I've received this in German, it may be a language specific thing, but we are going to test that. And also the dysfunctional repair bots which we reported. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. What am I doing? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm really rusty today. Good, okay, so first let's test if the let's do the save game bug and see if I can save games and delete games. And okay, let's create a new game. Seems to work. Let's see if it survives the restart. It sort of did, so maybe it is a language specific thing. Okay, so let's change it to German. I'm not sure if this can cause the bug, but maybe. Okay. Okay. So deleting seems to work. Creating a new game. Seems to work. Sort of strange. Really sort of strange. Really sort of strange. I mean, it seems to be there, so I guess we will need more information on this one. Well, basically I was thinking that maybe the locale has an influence on the name of the save file, but Not really, apparently. Okay, so the player reported that this is since the last patch, so I'm presuming it's this patch which caused it. Operation styles should also not be it. Exploration difficulty is now actually written to the save file. But that shouldn't really prevent people from deleting stuff. Okay, let's have a brief look at how stuff is saved and deleted. Delete. Yeah. There was this delete function which is commented out, but this is actually not deleting when you click on it, but deleting when you lose a game, just to make it hardcore, which is disabled at the moment because it would just be unfair at some points. Resume. Delete. Okay, and when we delete, we do f.delete update GUI. Should work. Yeah, I guess I really need the save file. Okay, so let me just briefly answer this. Okay, good. Yeah, this should close, well, it obviously didn't solve the bug, but we'll hear more of it. Okay, so drawing is with the rotator joint. Pairbots to the rescue. The rotator don't get healed up upon the repair bot's arrival. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, can pretty much see what causes this, so yeah, I guess I can change the yeah, I can change it here actually, but it's preset to English because I usually write in English, so I guess should work out. Okay, repair bots. Repair bot, world, consume, execute. Wait, move, repair. Contains target. Can repair. how does it work? Okay, so basically we move through the list of all modules on the same ship part, and well, technically if you use a rotator joint it's not the same ship part anymore, which explains the bug. Yeah, so rather than doing this simple ship part test, we should sort of make a function which figures out all the ship parts which are connected to each other via joints. Okay, yeah, but that totally makes sense actually. A joint. Okay, revolute joint. Okay. Is base, is child, find connected ship part. Is child, ship part. Yeah, so basically we need to create a function which gives us all the connected ship parts. Yeah, let's test it. We can handle. Well, yeah. Actually, I've sort of adapted this theme myself, to be honest. Where is it? Database? Yeah, it's basically an adaptation of this one, I think. Yeah, exactly. So this one has sort of a dark gray background, which I personally didn't like. Before that, I sort of used this one for a while. Well, yeah. So back to this one. Okay, so let's make a function find connected ship parts, given a ship part S. How do we do it? Okay, so first we add the it has to be a recursive function, I guess. So first we add the ship part which we give this function, and then I guess we will okay. It's a bit. So basically, from programming perspective, these joints are not symmetrical. So they are a part of one ship part, but not the other. So okay. So first we need to add which are part of this ship part. By joints which are part of this ship part. It's actually terribly complicated in a way. Okay, so let's go through all the modules of this ship part, and if I guess we also have to I mean, I'm going to make it a recursive function, but yeah. Okay. So only if M is a revolute joint, we add it to the list. Okay, I guess we will have to give this list as well as a parameter. This is sort of complicated, unfortunately. It's always the simple bugs which really take a lot of time to solve. Okay, we only want stuff which is not yet in the list. No, that's not required actually. Okay, if it is revolute joint, is base, is child, find connected chip parts, connected chip part, okay. Okay, so if we have found a revolute joint, we are going to check if this chip part is already in the list. Basically, yeah, we are going to skip this part if it is already in the list, and if it is not, we are going to call this function for the connected chip part. And in the end, we will return it. Which is, it's a bit confusing because we have to, okay, let's make a second function for convenience. I'm just making it really even more complicated than it already was. This new list, then we do this function with this list. Or we can even make it like this, I guess. Yeah, to list. That should solve that. And just have to make sure that we do not get an infinite loop here. And secondly, we have to add parts which are connected by joints which are not part of this chip part. Oh god. Okay, so basically, and now we go through the list of all the modules on this chip, and we're going to skip the ones which are I don't know actually. Going to see if they are revolute joints, and if they are, wait a second. Hi Tommy, good evening. Okay. Okay, so basically there are two cases. One case is if the joint is in the same ship part and the other ship part is a different ship part. Or the second case is if the joint is not part of this ship but of another ship part. And in that case we need to... I've already forgot what I'm saying. In that case we need to add the ship part of that, of that thing. Ship part, connected ship parts, ship part, okay, good. Find connected ship parts. We may actually well use that for other parts of the game, this function, because the auto-aim joints may cause, or the Revolut joints in general may cause problems at other places as well. Okay, but until then, let's do this and go to the repair bot. Connected modules. Is Revolut joint find connected ship parts, ship part. Okay, and rather than do it like this, we're going to do it like this. Connected ship parts. Alright, there's actually a decent chance that we are not going to have any ship part at all, or that we're going to have an infinite loop. So let's do some debugging. Debugging before the bug has even been found. Okay, and let's give it a try. Have you considered adding ship exporting functionality? Definitely. I mean, technically you can already share your ships by just copying the ship file from your game save folder. But I do want to... well, I mean, ideally I would add a Steam Workshop support so that people can share their ships simply using Steam Workshop. I'm just a bit hesitant to promise it because it is well, I'm not entirely sure if I can manage to implement the Steam API in a good or efficient way. I've done some experiments and it will probably work at some point. So yeah, so it is planned but not promised. Say. Non-static variable, okay, so I guess I will have to rename it everywhere. Okay. Let's not make run, make. Yeah, I did a little bit of research into the Steam API, and I will probably manage to do it by writing a C++ wrapper or C wrapper in some form. It didn't really help that Steam doesn't quite work correctly on the system at the moment. But I mean, Steam does work, but the Steam API gives exceptions, so achievements and stuff doesn't work here. Because, you know, technically it's not made to support Arch Linux, which is fair enough. Do we have a ship with a joint? Well, I guess let's create one. Alright. So, oh, it's still in German actually. We should fix that. Let's just add some random crap. And let's add some repair bots. Okay, and it doesn't work. Why does it not work? Okay, it's too far away. Now it works. I guess. Does it? Why does this one have a warning and this one does not? Well, one bug at a time, I guess. And it immediately crashed. Nice. Nice. Okay. So. Yeah, it's an infinite loop. Very nice. So is it an infinite loop in the first part or the second part? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. We are not using the correct function here. So I'm going to have to use this function. And I'm also thinking of making it a bit easier, I guess, a bit simpler. They're just doing this test once, so... oh, actually we are already doing it, so it was sort of irrelevant in the first place. Okay. Okay, next try. Well, you're correct, it wasn't a bug in that sense, but actually one of the joins did not have a warning, so I guess they both didn't really have stuff attached, keys assigned, so. Alright. Which brings me to ships not spawning on asteroids. Okay, so before we continue, let's see if the... Okay, it does show 3 ship parts connected, which is correct. Just see if it works, if we damage our stuff. And it does. Okay. The graphical position of the repair bot may actually be incorrect, but that's really a minor bug, so I'm not quite sure. It's annoying. But maybe I will change it. Okay, so basically the coordinates of the modules are sort of local in the sense that they are relative to the ship part center, which causes the bots to, you know, go to the position which would be on that ship part. I guess I may, but then I would also have to correct for rotation and stuff. Oh, it's so evil. So evil. But is it really? Maybe it's not so evil. Okay, so let's test that. to our repair bot. Idle move, move repair, target xy minus bot xy. And target xy is target PMM. What is PMM? Okay, it's one of the positions of this. Okay, I guess we will have to okay. Guess we will this is really, it changes so much stuff, which is really annoying. I'm actually half tempted to just ignore this bug for now. But on the other hand, I guess we can fix it, I guess. So we have to make these bot coordinates not local, but global. So not local to that chip part. I guess we'll have to move this stuff here. Always these bugs. Okay. Okay, this is also incorrect then, because it is already in world coordinates. Bot X and bot Y. Same thing here in a way. Unit set position also be. All right. Okay, and when we set the position, we have to do this transformation. Okay, so it's just the other way around. We have to transform it when we set the coordinates. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll wait. Same for target, I guess. Yeah. Oops. Why? Okay. What do we have? Same thing over here. Oh god. Well, let's do it a bit hackish here. Okay, this part is okay. This is also okay. But rotation might be okay. Particle weather, okay. Okay. That part may actually well be okay, so maybe we are done. Okay, well, not quite, I guess, because the target may be on another ship part. Yeah, which is what we basically what we've done. So we have to use the am.shipPart position to world buffer function. Otherwise, we will not have achieved anything. Okay, let's try it. See if we fixed it. Okay, so it accidentally assigns control to all ship parts. Okay, oh, to all selected modules. Okay, that sounds reasonable actually. Yeah. So next bug. Okay, let's keep track of things. So let's do another patch node. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. Maybe the cloaking nebula is not the best place to test it. Oh, it's also really buggy with the with the auto aim joints. Oh god. Oh god. Stupid joints. Okay. And our repair bots are gone. Oh, they're not gone, they're just really slow. Okay. I guess it makes sense. Because they are technically much slower, so we will have to increase their speed too. Oh, please don't feel bad about reporting these bugs, because I will, I have to fix them at some point, so. Okay, so actually how can we do it without... Okay, so first let's see if bots are now going towards the correct module. Okay, so the center one. But actually, the speed thing is sort of neat in a way. I mean, you need to slow down in order for the bots to catch up and repair your ship. It's actually sort of neat, I think. And for some reason, apparently they do not repair it. Ah, you need auto repair, right? Already forgot. Okay, so now the bots are gone and are done, and they're just walking away. Okay, so I presume they're going to 0, 0, which is here, which is not exactly what we want. So, so let's try to damage the left part again. See if they come back. No, they don't come back. Okay, so so many more bot-related problems. So first of all, when they are done repairing, okay, then this is called and this is not correct anymore. Okay, okay. So basically, we'll have to steal this part. That should prevent them from just going off to the left-hand corner. Next, let's make them a bit faster. Let's try like 20. Just see how that works out. What else? Well, I guess now we just test it again to see if they repair the correct thing. Well, I guess you could make the bot only repair stuff which is on the exact same ship part and not connected things, but I think it's not really so intuitive in a way. And what am I doing here? And it's not really apparent for, I mean, it's a technical reason in a way why it didn't work, and it's not really intuitive for the player, I think. So even if it's more effort to implement it, I sort of want to make it a bit more, you know, more intuitive if I have the chance. I mean, it's a very complicated game in the first place, so going for this technical argument seems a bit lazy to me. Okay, so repair bots are now much faster. And they do stop, which is a bit odd, I guess. Well. Okay, so let's see. Ah yeah, again we need R. They didn't really repair the rightmost module. Okay. Why? Okay, it is showing the correct number of connected ship parts. So that should not be it, I guess. But it also didn't do this function for... Strange. Let's try again. Let's try again. Don't really get it. So let's cheat some more. Should make a faster testing ship. Okay. So only the right part is damaged. And it's not really working. Okay, so I'm presuming they are going to the wrong position. Maybe. Or are they not trying at all? So if we damage the front part, then they do it. Okay. Let's add some more debug stuff to figure this out. Oh, this is actually incorrect. Yeah, it's actually incorrect. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's add some debug nevertheless. Good. Yeah, and let's try again. Hey Bison Bull, how's the game going? Well, I'm a bit behind schedule, mostly because of, well, me trying to implement more features than I originally intended, and also because I've had, you know, a lot of stuff to do lately. But I think it's progressing quite nicely, so I'm intending to finish the alpha phase pretty soon, which would start the beta phase, which is about polishing stuff and adding more content rather than more basic game mechanics and stuff. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with how stuff is going. Okay, that seems to be working. Well, I do agree that it sort of looks a bit strange if they lag behind. But from a mechanical perspective, I sort of like the idea that you have to slow down a bit for them to catch up and repair your stuff. But still, if they are not repairing, maybe they could stick to their ship part more closely. Oops. Yeah, this does look a bit odd, I guess. Also they're not repairing because you don't have ore. Huh? Why are they not repairing? They do have ore now. They are still not repairing. Why? Also, this graphic is wrong. Oh, there's so many bugs. It's so embarrassing. Okay. So originally I was like, yeah, there's like 5 bugs which are open, and then we can go on to do more stuff, and now it's bugs all over the place. Okay. Joint graphic does not align. Repair bots do not repair. Indirectly connected to modules and control key assigned when copying modules. Okay. And repair bots look strange when lagging behind. BossConstructor, thank you. Okay. Let's start with this one because we're just at this thing. Okay, so they are moving to the correct module, but they are not repairing. Okay, So let's try it. Okay, so how does it work exactly? So they're getting a target and state is changing to move repair. So move repair means they go to the target location, and then when the distance is smaller than a certain value, which may be too high now, too low now, then they go to the repair state. Okay, so first let's increase this a bit, then there's some more debug stuff too. And yeah, okay, let's try. Language is based on Java, it's not Java itself. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so they're getting to R1, but not to R2. Okay. Okay, so this test is failing for some reason. Target destroyed. Okay. Modules contains. Okay, so this is obviously failing. Yeah, okay. So let's do the thing from above. I'm actually not quite sure why we need this test at all. I mean, worst case would be like a module gets shut off and it is still repaired for some time, but it's not the worst thing ever, I guess, but well, we can try. Okay, let me just turn on the light. Yeah. Okay, Still not doing it for some reason. Okay, still this test which fails. Okay. Have it connected. Why do we have these tests? Target ship part is ship part. It's not required anymore. Okay. Java is a noob-friendly language. Oh my god. I don't know what it always is about people like arguing how you cannot make good games in a certain language or a certain, you know, operating system or in a certain programming framework or whatever. I just don't really get it. Okay, so we didn't take damage from that asteroid. Now we did, and are they repairing? Yes, they did. Okay, nice. Okay, so repair what's do not is done. Nice. So next, okay, before we move on, let's test if it works when we reverse these joints. I should really make a faster ship to test this. And we need all again. And it seems to work. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, excellent. So let's remove all the debug stuff. And let's consider this one solved. Well, I guess we still need to find a solution for it looking strange, lagging behind. But before I do that, that's really strange. The pebbles look strange when lagging behind. Okay, let's do that one next, and let's make a faster ship to test this. So let's remove stuff which we do not need, maybe like so. This stuff and yeah, actually I agree. Maybe when not moving, not repairing, they should sort of stick to their, how do you call it, their base module. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Good. Okay, so let's do this now. Okay, so basically when yeah, so basically they're doing the idle move function when they are not doing actual stuff, or the idle wait function. Yeah. Good question. How to best solve it? Idle wait or idle move? Well, I mean, the easiest thing would be to not make them move around at all when they are not repairing. But I sort of like them wandering around. guess we could make it so that it uses the old method for movement here, but the is sort of strange. I guess for now I'm going to just make them sit around and wait when they are not repairing. Yeah, okay, yeah. So we're going to do it. It'll wait. We're just removing the idle move stuff. And while doing this, we are going to set the position to the center of this module. Yeah, okay. Okay, good, good, good. Oops. It's not this one, but center point. This stuff, and let's do it like this. Okay. Okay. I guess it's sort of. It's not perfect. Sometimes you can still bind keys if the auto bind feature is toggled on. That is actually sort of intended. Especially for some modules which are not bound automatically. So for those modules, I do not want the player to have to disable stuff all the time. But let's just see. Yeah, you are correct. It is bound to control when I copied it. Okay. Okay. So first, let's see if the bots are now, yeah, they are now fixed to our thing, and they are also not moving, which is stupid. Yeah, so they need to so they should take the rotation of the ship part, I guess. Maybe we'll need to convert that. And let's just see what happens when we make them repair. Okay, then it works as previously. And then they just respawn back. Oh, damn. Okay, so that part is still strange. And it's also sort of buggy that it is just bugging around like this when we are standing still. Repair bots are like pigeons. Okay, so repair bots just spawning back to their original position is definitely not as intended. Okay. Okay, so let's do it like this. So when they are done repairing, then we go to idle move, and idle move makes them go back to their thing, their base module, and when they have arrived, they will become attached again. Yeah, I guess that sort of makes sense, I guess. Okay, so rather than setting this stuff ourselves, we are going to set the target X, target Y to this. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And this stuff is also no longer correct. So, and if our distance is small enough, let's say smaller than 1, so if the bots have arrived, then we will attach them again. Yeah, it sort of makes sense, I guess. So state is move, no, idle, wait. All right. All right. Let's give it a try. Okay. Yeah, the jittering is caused by the basically the joints being too powerful given the lightness of the connected chip parts. And it's not so easy to fix actually, because if I make them too strong, they will, you know, then you get what we have now. If I make them too weak, they will not be able to correctly control the, you know, move the connected chip parts. But we can try. Well, it's sort of cute. They're going there and realizing that I do not have ore, and they just go back. Oh, that actually looks sort of cute, right? If I move, then they have to make like a little arc to get back, and oh, that's cute. I like it. The rotation of the module should maybe play a role, maybe not. So let's give it some ore. And now they're repairing it, I think. And then they go back. Alright. It's not perfect, but I guess it makes sense. Good. Good. So next, yeah, did we ship parts when using rotating joints? Okay, let's add this as well. Okay, let's add this to the patch notes as well. Oops. Okay, good. So next, next on our list. Okay, it is correct when it is pointing. What? What? Okay, so in this direction it is correct, but when pointing left it is always 1 square off. Okay. Okay, so let's do this bug next. One. Okay, joint graphics do not align. Yeah. So when pointing left. Okay. We'll try it. Okay. So where is it done? Render top untransformed. So we move it to the correct position. No, it's totally not correct. It's totally not what we're looking for, I think. This is what we're looking for. Render core. Joint connector. But why is it off for when it's just pointing left? Doesn't make too much sense, I guess. But this should actually be the part which not top untransformed. So I guess it is here, I guess. Okay. So I guess the arrow is somewhere here. SY divided by 2, okay. If rotation is like this, okay. Yeah, I guess it's somewhere here. I'm sort of thinking of just adding like really dirty hack here because I don't really feel have the intention to dive too deep into this bug, which is relatively small. So I'm just going to check if it is rotating to the left, and then I'm going to make it translate one tile to the right. Let's see if this was the correct direction, and then that should solve that. Am I capable of giving modules animations? Yeah. Well, currently the base module graphic is always static. But you know, I can add moving parts on top of them, or like graphical effects. But in principle, you could also have like a sprite. I mean, I would have to adapt the code, but it's basically more a thing of, you know, of the effort to make animations everywhere. Okay, so this is actually not correct. Okay, so it was exactly the wrong direction because now this guy is wrong as well. Okay, so it would be like this. Let's try again. The it is a pretty strange bug though. Oh, and this didn't solve it? Strange. And now the right one is looking strange. Huh? What? Okay, but now the left one is correct and the right one is incorrect. Okay, actually I changed the rotation here. So now the right one is correct and the left one is incorrect. Oops. Okay, so it's still the left one that is incorrect. Strange. So did I select the wrong direction? Rotation minus pi. Okay, I guess to make sure I should just print out the actual rotation of the incorrect one. Otherwise it's just, you know, guessing. Which is also fine, but yeah. Accept displacement maps from in the future again. I guess I could change the GIMP script to export stuff to make like a batch adaptation stuff, so that we could change every frame of the animation without you know, having to do it manually. Good work, good work. Okay, this looks like pi times 3/2. Yeah, okay. So it was the correct one before. It just didn't look right. So maybe the direction here was incorrect. Let's try -1 and try again. Oh, I see, this is turning out to be a long stream again. It also always ends up like this. I'm tending of like finishing stuff up really quickly, and then you guys come along and just mess up everything and ruin everything. I don't get this at all, to be honest. Now it has changed the right one again. Okay, this is rotation 7. Oh god. Oh, does it? Oh, that's actually really evil. Does it accumulate the rotation? No, it does not. But huh? Okay, so basically at 4.71 whatever it is problematic, and here it is also problematic now. And here it is okay. I really hate these types of bugs because, you know, it's not like you learn anything from it or it's even, you know, interesting to solve. It's just tedious. So it's okay, so changing the 4.71 was incorrect, I guess. So what was the one which we should have changed? So this was 7.1, which is incorrect. Strange. What is that actually? It is 2.5 times pi? Oh god. Okay, I guess this should work now. Good. Don't feel bad about it. I deserve to be punished for my programming sins. It's also not like it's not like it's not fun to hang out with you. So okay, now the right one is correct. I mean, it looks buggy because the joint is not really designed to, yeah. Oh, this one is incorrect. Now this one is incorrect. I do not really understand because this should not have been affected by the change. Ah. Ah, wait a second. No. Okay, so for a second I thought it matters whether it is attached to this part or this part, the center part. But apparently not. I'm really confused. Okay, so now the 7.81 is problematic, but the 4.71 is correct. Okay. 7.8 was 2.5, but 7 was 1.5. Okay, maybe it's incorrect to do it like this. Wait a second. Is that the original bug? So does this apply to both of them? Rotation minus pi over 2. Ah, it does, of course. No, sorry. Wait, does it? Rotation minus pi. No, it should. No, so I'm sorry. But on the other hand, so maybe two of these are applied at the same time. I but it shouldn't actually be the case because these are always positive. So. Okay, so what was I saying? One of them was correct, and sorry, forgot again. What was I saying? Okay, now this one is correct. This one is incorrect. 7.85, which was 2.5 times pi for some reason. 2.5 times pi. Ah, is this incorrect maybe? Okay, yeah, let's fix it in this round. So let's make an additional debug output to tell us if this is applied, which I'm not sure. Maybe we need the absolute thing. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, so now the white one is, oh, it's actually correct now. But it's no longer correct on the top. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, so these ones are correct now. So why is the top one now incorrect? Let's see. So the right one has 6.28 and it is applied. Okay, good. 6.28 should be 2 times pi. So why is this applied when we have 2 times pi? Ah, okay, we need the absolute function here to prevent this. Okay, good. Because otherwise it is 0, which is smaller than this stuff. Yeah, sometimes the graphic really is a nightmare. I'm not entirely sure. Well, maybe some of this is unnecessarily complicated, so maybe some of this could be solved easier. But there's a certain base complexity due to having ship parts which have their own coordinate systems, and then, you know, like joins with other ship parts which have another coordinate system, and then each module, you know, having graphics which have their own coordinate system. So that is sort of the reason why it is a bit messy, I think. Yeah, I guess it's yeah, I guess it's reasonably okay. So all right, so yeah, that should solve that. Good. Okay, joint graphics with align is fixed. I made a little note here because it is sort of a strange bug, and maybe it needs to be changed in another place as well. So I'm sort of leaving that for a later date. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not really too sure what things will change if I make a change here. But my guess is that I will have to change this to rotation a modulo 2 times pi. I mean, it shouldn't be a thing in the first place. I mean, rotation shouldn't be over 2 pi. No. Okay, good. Next, control key assigned when copying modules. Good. Okay, this part has become a bit more complicated because you can now assign like the modifier keys like control and so on in the first place, which wasn't a thing previously. And yeah, I guess there's something which has gone wrong here. So if selected modules is empty, modifier action editor drag is active, then we do this thing. Okay, so I guess we have to check if these conditions are somehow incorrectly evaluated. And well, let's just add this debug stuff and see if we can reproduce this bug. Okay, so basically the bug was that I I copy a module and then it has the control key assigned, which didn't work here. Wait, it does? Wait. Okay. It didn't happen the first time, but the second time. It is a bit confusing. So let's try again. Let's take this module which has no keys assigned and copy it here using the control key. I see. It matters whether you release the key before or after, you know, releasing the mouse. Okay. So, which direction is incorrect? Okay, so if I do it like this and release the key, then it is assigned. Okay. And otherwise, if you release it before while you are still dragging, then it's correct. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. So, editor drag active, key released, key pressed. Modifier action. Oh. So if you release the mouse before mouse released, editor drag end, then we set active to false. Yeah. Okay. Sort of confusing. Okay, so where was modify action used? Modify action is false whenever we... Oh, this is really, really confusing. Modify action is true. Do we need to set it to true when we... Okay, so I guess it also depends on whether you start dragging after pressing the control key or before. Mouse dragged. Little drag execute. Okay. Let's see if this works. Begin connected modules. Let's see if this is enough to fix it. So basically, the cause for this bug is that you can use the modifier keys like Control, Alt, and Shift, both to assign them to module actions and to, copy modules or select multiple modules and so on. So it's sort of hard for the game to tell which, what you want. Okay, so, okay, it works like this. Okay, this doesn't work at all, okay. Okay, so we hit Control, we drag it here, release Control and drop it, that's correct. And again, and now we drop it and release Control. Nice. Okay, so it shouldn't, yeah, that might actually have fixed it. Let's try a bit more. Release it and then hit release Control. Okay, so can we still, yeah, we can still bind Control. Yeah. Yeah, nice, nice. So, that was actually sort of reasonable to fix. So, I mean, reasonably easy to fix. Okay, control key assigned is done. Okay, so let me just show you the the code which is responsible for the jittering, and then I'm going to get a T, and then we are going to try to see if we can make it a bit smoother. So basically, yeah. So basically, this is where we define how the joint behaves in the physics system. And the critical component here is maximum motor torque. If this is too high, then we get the jittering, which we have, and if it is too low, it has trouble moving the ship parts. So I guess this value sort of has to depend or take into account the weight of the connected chip parts. So that would probably be a reasonable approach. I mean, it's sort of unrealistic in a way that it gets stronger when you attach more heavy chip parts, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, from a gameplay perspective, it makes sense, I guess. Okay, just gonna grab some tea and I'll be right back. Yep. All right. All right, so let's try to change it in a way that makes the torque depend on the ship part weight. So, good. So first let's add a function which calculates the weight of a ship part. Should be reasonably simple. So actually I don't know what the weight is. Weight, okay, it's just weight. Okay, so okay, so first for testing we are going to use the auto aim joint, just because I'm yeah, because it's, you know, reasonable to use that as well. Okay, so first let's look at the weight of this ship part. Then let's have a look at the weight of the connected ship part. And as a test, let's just try to make the what the typical weight is, maybe in the range of like 20 or 50. So let's try 5 times the minimum of these two rates. Let's try that. Just a guess. Just a guess. Okay, let's try. Oh god, it's already 10 p.m. and I haven't even started with the second bullet point for today. And there are actually even still more bugs I'm aware of, which we might fix at some point. Okay, nevertheless, auto-aim freighter might be a reasonable test. Let's try that one. Okay, so rate of run part is 128, rate of the small parts is 6, so the torque is 30. So let's see if that is enough to make it move correctly. I think I might tone down the particle effects at some point. This seems a bit excessive. Oh, maybe. Okay. Okay. For some reason it doesn't fire. Why does it not fire? Oh, it's actually energy absorbers? Whatever. Okay, so they do have too little power actually, so they're just flopping around like this. On the other hand, it's not too much jitter, well, a bit. Okay, but here it's a bit more justifiable that they wander around because they are actually trying to move stuff. Okay, let's try our joint test chip, which we just used previously. Let's see how that behaves. Okay, now the small part is 10, the big part is 40, and we have 50 in total. And it is a bit jittery, but it is way less than it was before. So it's much more stable in a way. Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking of increasing it twofold, maybe. Let's try 3 times. Because previously it was 300 for this ship. And then it would be 150. Maybe let's try it 10 times so that we have 100. That might be enough actually. Yeah. I guess in order to really test it, we also need to add like really heavy ship parts and to see if that makes, if it is still reasonably strong enough. So, oh yeah, I know what we are going to do. So let's take our auto aim. Actually, let's make a new ship. Let's make it auto aim laser and set some solar panels. And a bit of propulsion. Maybe like this. Let's add 2 auto aim joints. And on the right side we're just going to attach 1 fireball, and on the left part going to attach a lot more. And I guess in order to make it viable, let's add some batteries. Yeah, I think that seems like a reasonable ship design. Well, I'm not so sure if it's still going to go fast. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, so the point is the left joint should now be way stronger than the right part joint thing. Does it work? Yeah, it does work. So yeah, carrying it around like a really embarrassingly big handbag. Okay, so now it should lock on to an asteroid. And it sort of works. Okay, yeah, I think that is sort of reasonable. It's still strong enough to move the laser module. Actually, we should check how strong it is currently. Okay, so this has even higher torque than it did previously. So maybe we should add like a base torque or stuff. But on the other hand, it looks sort of fine. God. Is it? Come on, come on. It's actually sort of a fun chip design, actually. It's really unbalanced to control. Because, you know, the auto aim joint works in both directions. So basically your ship changes rotation as well when the auto aim joint moves. But yeah. Oh. A Scorpion-esque ship. Let's try it. I have no idea, actually. I have no idea. Oh, I should... Oh, wait a second. Can you bind keys while renaming a ship? That should not be the case. That should totally not be the case. Okay, wait a second. Well, we found another bug. Process key released. And what is it called? Active splash. And active splash is null. Okay. We're not even looking for this bug and we already found it. Yeah, it really is scary, the amount of bugs. However, I'm pretty happy that most of the really serious bugs, like the game crashing, game breaking bugs, are sort of seem to be pretty much fixed. How can I say that? I don't. Yeah, they actually are. I mean, the number of crashes people experience has gone way down. So yeah, pretty happy about that, actually. Okay, this is going to be the reverse Scorpion. How do we do that? Let's try it like this. Well, actually really interesting. Will it work? Will it be useful? Okay, let's put an energy sword at the end. Whoops. Sort of buggy just before, but I'm strange. Okay, well, that seems to work. Oh, hey, it's sort of not that horrible actually. Whoa. Wow. I honestly didn't know that you could do this. So the torque is actually too low for this specific design? Huh. This is actually sort of cool. It's actually sort of really cool. Okay, so yeah. So I'm thinking of adding like a base torque here. So let's make torque like maybe 80 plus 8 times this, or 7? I don't know. Random magic number. Actually, we can look it up what we had here. So this was... weight was 4 and torque was 30. So now we would increase it somewhat. Okay, let's try again. I was honestly not aware that that is sort of a valid chip design, to be honest. But I guess it became sort of valid by the implementing the change which you suggested, that you do not take damage from collisions between connected chip parts. Yeah. Okay, let's try again. Scorpion. Here it is. Well, actually, let's make 2 of them. It is a bit funny to control. Okay, now go. Go, 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 go. Well, what? Okay, so we sort of messed this up, but okay. I think actually 1 tail works better than 2. Because just the movement of these joints adds more instability to the ship. And I guess in order to make it really good, we should also just remove one of these parts. Yeah, I guess one of the problems which will sort of remain is these joints here are very, especially these joints are relatively weak. Actually, all of them are relatively weak because they just consider the strength of the next ship part and the weight of the next ship part. So they do not take into account that this ship part is actually relatively heavy compared to just this part, but it is sort of a whoa, sort of thing. Well, actually one does work better. Whoops. Come on. Come on. Oops. Oh, we're actually flying in reverse. Okay. This is actually really cool. Okay, so they do lack a little bit of stability when you move forward. Whoa. And I really need to improve the sound effect for the energy sword. But it does make for sort of a fun mining style ship. Yeah, it works best when you don't move a lot. Oh, and actually the sword doesn't seem to work at super close range. Strange bug. And another bug. Oh, this is so horrible. But is that a thing actually? Does the laser not work at super close range? I mean, it could be. It would be very counterintuitive for a short-range module. Oops. Okay. Anyway. Okay, Zeta stuff should be solved. Let's add it to the patch notes. Good. Yeah. Nice. Bug fixes are sort of done. Well, unless you count this as a bug fix. So, okay, so we are going to do this now. Then we are going to have a look at the player statistics. It's after 10 PM already, but I'm still motivated to go on a bit. However, particle physics, not today. Not today. Alright, prevent ship spawn on asteroids and mines. Please do. You should totally go ahead and make a space quit. But this is sort of the cool stuff which I also want to show off in like the next trailer or stuff when I do the next trailer, because this is sort of unique. I think it's sort of the thing you can do with the physics in BossConstructor, which are not totally apparent and which are also not so like super familiar to players. You know, that you can make like really creative stuff. And yeah, all right. Okay, so how do we prevent a spawn on asteroids? Okay, spawn ship, spawn ship, spawn ship. Okay, I think this function is used when a ship is spawned, and basically this algorithm is trying different candidate positions, and it's trying 30 positions. I guess we can increase it to 50, and it is evaluating each position based on the distance to allied ships and the distance to enemy ships. And what we have to do, I guess, is to add a penalty for spawning next to mines or next to asteroids. Yeah, that's actually pretty much it. This may actually be easier than I originally thought. So, nevertheless, let's add some debug stuff. And now let's add our penalty for all world item points. If cast WIP as asteroid A, and if point distance is smaller than, let's say, 20, we're going to apply a penalty, which is basically decreasing this value. I have no idea actually about the scale of this thing, which is a part of where I'm making this debug output. So let's try 50. And also let's not spawn next to a mine. And let's do the same as for the asteroid. And let's give it a try. So maybe this is relatively easy, but I guess we have to spawn on many different maps to see if it really does make a difference. And this didn't work at all. This for all is sort of a syntax which I created myself for these loops, but just becomes so complicated that I sort of forgot how to use it. It's really stupid. So in some parts you see me not use it at all, even though I could technically do it. Okay. Maybe I could also generalize this penalty to all world item points, so that you do not spawn next to or on top of like a shop or whatever. Actually, we could do that. But the penalty shouldn't be as hard as when spawning on a mine. Okay, so let's try. Well, it's obviously a bit, you know, we have to do this many times in order to figure out if it really does have an effect. And also, maybe we do not need to do this because it didn't execute this function at all. Okay, okay. So rather than do this, let's figure out what is actually used to calculate the position. It's probably in the map class or map generator. Create ships, okay. So here the ships are created. But where are they added actually? Is it here? No, this should just be the map description. Okay, so let's do it. Let's have a look at how it is done actually. So here's the world is created. Here the player ship is created. And then we are making a map and calling map.init, which is probably, yeah, where stuff is added to the world. So it was map after all. Okay, so let's go to map, init. Okay. Init chips. Okay, and this map generator.place ships, where the ships are created and placed. Place ships. Huh. And this is actually pretty similar to the stuff which is done in the world function, which is a bit strange. Evaluate placement. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit better written here actually, but yeah. Okay, factions intership distance. Okay. Okay. Actually, is the map already created at this point? Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, so at this point, all the other stuff should already be added to the map, I think. Especially after init scenery. And then we should be able to do it as we did in the world thing. Okay, okay. So evaluate placement now needs the word. And then we do it as we did here. Yeah. Still not too sure where this function is actually called. Okay, whatever. I guess some missions are using it. example. Okay, jump gate. Okay, this is now called score. All right. Okay, and let's go. Hi, Garion. Yeah, in fact, I'm German. Wait a second. Let me just fix this before I answer. Why? I guess enemy ships shouldn't spawn in minefields either, so I think we sort of have to make a loop for all the ships. Okay, so I see why this is a different function than in the world class. So basically in the world class, the ships are... This function is used when you spawn ships subsequently. So every ship position is evaluated based on the ships which are already existing in the world. While in this case, in this function, the ships are not actually spawned yet. So we are having an abstract list and we are sort of improving this abstract list before we actually place the ships, which should actually yield better results because you... yeah. So just to give an example, I do want to have the factions spawn on different sides. So I do not want to have you spawn directly next to an enemy, for example. And this would be sort of hard to accomplish if you have a sort of small map and you have like 2 enemy ships in the middle. So then the player would have to be, you know, pushed to the very edge of the map or something, and it would in general give worse results, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think it adds 1. All right. Okay, and I guess it's also not called dist, but it is called score. Okay. Might work. Okay, so basically the programming language which I'm using is, well, I call it MJava. It is basically based on Java, but it is sort of a custom dialect which is translated into native Java. So basically I pretty much like Java as a programming language, but I'm not a big fan of the syntax. So basically I've made a custom syntax which is then translated into native Java code. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I guess the syntax is more based on languages like Python, but it also has some other like convenience stuff which I find useful. Yeah. For example, like simplified methods for using lists and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now this is actually used. And it's a bit strange. Why are both of these used? I mean, it wasn't used before, right? Let's try the test map. Huh. It is not used in the test map, but it is in the normal map, in the random map. Ah, okay, I see, I see. Okay, so when you have specific missions, like in this case, destroy the freighter, then the freighter is... what the hell? Then the freighter is spawned outside of the basic ship placement process. That actually makes sense, so that is the reason why it doesn't work. I'm actually pretty happy with the AI now. For some ship types it works really well. Okay, so back to what we are doing. Okay, I'm a bit confused why the scale is so different here. So this is like about -5, -9, -900. It's really, really strange. Okay, so but in general, the best score is probably around 0, I think. And maybe like in the scale of -5, -10. Yeah. Okay, so okay, so actually this score penalty may be a bit too high. So I'm thinking of making it like -10 or something. Yeah. I think the nice thing about having like a loop, finding the best placement, is that you're always guaranteed to find a best placement. So it's not like this may run forever or you may not be able to find a proper spawn. Yeah. Okay, I guess this should sort of work. I would like just to try a few map spawns and see if it does have like a noticeable effect. So like if we spawn 10 times, do we spawn in an asteroid field once or so? Okay, so let's make our score list. Worked. Did not work. If you're interested in these language which I use, there's like a little forum post where you can also download this preprocessor which I've written on my blog. I'll come to it in a second, and then I'm also going to okay, it worked. And it worked. This is like a very scientific approach here. Okay, it worked. It sort of worked. We are not inside the asteroid. Close enough. Oh, close, but yeah. So it's like... what? Ah, okay, this is sort of... Okay, what happened here is our main mission objective is to move asteroids to the lab. And the asteroids already spawned at the lab. Oh, God. Oh. Yeah. I'm actually not going to fix that right now because it's so rare and so random. I wonder, did it work here? So the distance should be... Yeah, I guess the distance needs to be higher, but in general it should work. So I'm going to make this like 30 or 40. Wait, one grid square is 25 by 25, so 2 grid squares should be reasonable, and also for the lines. Alright, so let me just catch up on... catch up on chat. The framework which I'm using is Slick2D, which is I can just show you, which is based on LW2G. So this is a game library specifically done for 2D games. And I'm actually using the 2.9 build. Actually, I said previously on stream that this is discontinued, but it's actually not. There's actually a 3-point version which has been released previously. I tried to upgrade actually, but they've actually changed a lot in the framework, so probably not what I want. Yeah, this is based on LWJGL, which is a pretty relatively low-level interface to OpenGL, which well, I'm actually quite happy with. The nice thing is that this is cross-platform, so you can use it on like Linux, Mac, and Windows. And yeah, I've actually had quite a good time with it so far. If I were to start a new project, I might want to use libglx, or is it called libgdx, right? Which I've actually done a bit of testing on. So if you look in the I think on my YouTube channel I have like a video where I you know, check out the base features of libgdx, and I was actually quite impressed. So for my next project I would probably use libgdx. Alright, preprocessor. Okay, I can okay, so first of all let me show you. Should actually be pretty far in the past. Oh yeah, statistics still coming up. My talk on stuff, progress report. Actually, pretty much stuff here. It's actually really far below. Here it is, yeah, inside BossConstructor MJava. Let me just post this here. Yeah, exactly. So this is basically my motivation for doing it, and no, I'm back here again. Huh? Okay, sometimes it jumps, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, basically I didn't like the brackets and like the semicolons, which, at least in my opinion, all add a little bit of redundancy, and yeah. I also didn't like stuff like having to write the class name, which should be apparent from the file name, for example, and more stuff. I guess the version here is slightly out of date, but yeah. Okay, here's some features. And this is basically how it works. So this is an MJava file. Then MJava, which is the preprocessor, is called, and it translates it into a regular Java file, and then I can just use javac. It works most of the time. Sometimes you get like little glitches because you know, stuff did not, you know, pre-process correctly, but in general it works pretty fine. I can see if I can have it here. Yeah, I actually have. So this is the actual converter of MJava, and it's reasonably long, I guess. It's 600 lines. And I also have this Sublime Text language description if you are interested in that too. All right. Good. Okay, let's try a little bit more. Called it. Okay, so I guess the distance parameter was a little bit too small, so it makes sense to increase that. Oh, wait a second, before I forget, let me just... Basically, if you just go to YouTube BossConstructor, then you can find my video of me figuring out libgdx. Yeah. Should be pretty easy to find, you know, just Google it. Okay, so this guy was a bit close to the asteroid, but wait, okay. Okay, so here we are relatively close to an enemy. It's not ideal. Let me try one thing. Let me try to increase the number of times the algorithm tries. Let's try 500. If it's still reasonably fast, then that should improve the positions in general. You know, not just preventing asteroid and mine spawns, but improving the ship distribution in general. I should update this stuff. Yeah, okay. Okay, worked here. Okay, it does take significantly longer. I mean, it's still relatively fast here, but maybe... Well, it should scale pretty okay if we have many ships, because adding a ship doesn't add a huge, like, cost increase. Okay, let's try a few more. Let's try like 10 more, and if they all work, we're going to call it for this bug. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. What happened here? Okay, one of the mission objectives was again randomly won just by spawning. I might want to fix that at some point. So basically basically at a spawn penalty for the tech labs and the asteroids. Okay, I mean, yes, I'm counting this as working. All right, one last. All right. I guess this is sort of the worst which we had. Okay, because the mining ship spawned right next to us, and mining ships have a different spawning algorithm. But yeah, I guess it's sort of okay. What is that guy doing actually? Yeah, this is like a good transition to figuring out how well players did in the exploration mode after the latest balancing stuff. Okay, so let's just close this one out and nice, good. Yeah, let's just update the description and I can already start the deployment process. Other than that, yeah, let's begin with our analysis. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, so description has been updated. Survey. Oh, actually, we can have a look at the survey result. Feel the difficulty of the exploration mode in normal mode is currently. Yeah. Okay, there's actually a lot of stuff we can have a look at when we do the analysis now. Okay. So first of all, before I forget, let's start pushing the stuff to Steam. So you should be able to play it after the stream. And now let's get started here. Okay, so let's start the analysis date to 1st of June. So basically, since I've done a lot of changes, I don't want to have like super old data obfuscating what we are going to do. So let's start by using the last 2 months of game data. Yeah, let's go. So, okay, so basically these are the game versions people have been playing on. So 5.6 has been pretty popular and 30.6, okay. But yeah, it probably just means that these were the current patches when there was like a Steam sale or stuff. So it's not like super informative. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. So basically this is a graph of how many people played the game multiple times versus people who played the game only once. This is not super accurate because there are things which can happen which will cause the game to count this as false, even if it is true. So for example, if the settings are reset for some reason, or if you install the game again or stuff, then this is not counted correctly, so it's probably more than 75% who have played the game multiple times, which is good, And also if people have played the game before the 1st of June and after the 1st of June, then it is also counted as false. So, okay, I'm fairly happy with that. Okay, let's start having a look at the exploration mode. Should actually have a look if I think I have some new data which I haven't even looked at yet. Okay, so basically, I should elaborate a bit on what I'm doing. There are certain events in the game, for example, creating a ship or starting a mission or stuff, when anonymous data is sent to the server, and the server collects all this data, and occasionally when I have the time, I just download all the data and use it to find bugs, to see how people are doing, to see how the performance of the game is, stuff like that. It's really, really useful, and also for balancing, which I'm going to focus a lot in the beta phase. It's going to be really, really useful. And basically, I haven't really had a look at the data in depth for sort of a long time, and I feel like it's a big waste, so I really want to have a look at it and do it. Just to clarify, this is totally anonymous, and the data which is collected, and you can also opt out. You just have to uncheck it in the options. So I'm really just interested in, how often and how hard people fail and stuff. Okay, try the next one. Start exploration. Okay, so this is a graph for the difficulty level chosen by players, and most players, like 60%, are using the normal difficulty, and like a third are using the easy difficulty. The few people are trying hard or impossible. I'm not entirely sure if this is an indication for the game being too hard. Maybe it sort of is, I'm not sure. But this may also be due to many people, trying the game for the first time, and it's not an easy game. I mean, it definitely takes some time to get used to it, and the strategy which you need to be successful. Well, I guess we're going to come back to that question later on. Okay, galaxy size. Okay. Most people are using the default of a normal galaxy, but there are also many people using a huge galaxy. Well, I guess you're right. Most people will probably just choose the default. And may then go back to easy when they failed. I don't know. But I also know many people who, just want to have a fun time and just go to easy without even trying the rest. Okay. Most people seem to be using the utility bonus pack or the weapon bonus pack. Okay, and just a few are using the drive bonus pack. Interesting. Personally, I feel like the energy module, the energy pack is the most useful, because most of the starting ships are relatively short on energy production and storage. Interesting. It's interesting how many people are using the utility module. I'm actually sort of forgot what is in it, to be honest. Let me just have a look. Okay, utility first place. And utility is... okay, the repair bot is popular, I guess. Gift box, grappling hook, cargo container, ore container. Okay, but utility is also the default. Okay, so if you just hit exploration, this is what you're going to get. Yeah, so okay, so maybe it's not as much a deliberate choice, but just because it's the default and people who haven't played it before are going to go with the default. Okay. Weapons, okay. And drive is the least popular. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should make the drive one more attractive. For example, we could add the new big thruster thingies. If there's no achievement, I would never choose harder difficulty. Well, there you go. Wait a second. Okay, so let's replace the thruster rockets by the new, how's it called? Is it fission rocket? Yeah, let's do that. And let's see if people yeah, if people like that better. Wait a second. Bony mods. Okay, power thruster, fission. Okay, so maybe then more people will be tempted to try hard. Because yeah, I can totally see how the thruster rocket is not as useful. Okay, good. Next. It's pretty underwhelming. Yeah. Okay. But now, since you have your own, literally your own module in the game and in the drive bonus pack, I expect no more trouble. So this might be interesting. The starting exploration chip name. Okay, again, most people are using the alpha chip, which, well, I should leave the game running in the background so that we can have a look at stuff. Okay, alpha, then beta, then gamma, then delta, then epsilon. Okay. And a few occurrences of exploration ship and new ship, which are custom ships, obviously. Okay, again, alpha is the speed-based one, which is the default. Okay. Beta is the defense-oriented one. It's the second choice. Gamma, which is the weapon-focused one, is on place 3, together with Delta, which is like the ramming ship one. Okay. And only few people seem to be using the carrier one. Which is a bit surprising to me, but at the same time it's you know, people may be trying these in order, and yeah, okay. Good. Okay, let's close it again. Okay, player death. Okay, this is sort of unreadable. Okay, let's try a different graph. It's sort of funny. I mean, whenever you die, the name of the ship which destroyed you gets recorded. So usually it's like, you know, enemy ship, whatever. But sometimes it's also like really, really strange names, which are probably because it was a clone ship. And the clone ships do take the value of the name of the ship it was cloned from. So you get these custom names occasionally. I guess also if you commit suicide in some way, then it might also record your own ship's name. So yeah. Forgot what I did here. Oops, I probably accidentally destroyed it. So. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Leading causes of death. Let me just make it a tiny bit less colorful. So. Okay, enemy ships are slightly above 40%, which seems reasonable. Asteroids account for another 11% of death. Mining ships 8% and freighters 4%. Okay, it's also okay, because I mean technically these are still enemy ships. We have interceptors, which are basically either pirate stations or carrier modules. And then we have dummy ships, which are the ships from the test level. So these are now down at 3%, which is nice. Because I remember, you can check on my Twitter, when I first did this graphic, like 20% of people were killed by these basically immobile test ships, which was a bit funny. But yeah, it seems to have worked out now. Okay, the rest seems to be sort of... Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense to go too far into this graph, but I'm sort of happy that most people now die because of enemy ships, which they are supposed to, I guess. Okay, next graph. Explorations 1. Okay. Yeah. I do not actually have a real proper graphic to compare the number of explorations won and the number of explorations lost. Just check. Explorations won. Okay, so 26 exploration games have been won in the time frame we're looking at. Okay, so let's have a look at the difficulty. Oh, what? Exploration 1, okay. Identity, length. Okay. Okay, I remember. This was a bit messy. Yeah, I remember. Data. Okay, so the reason why this is a bit messy is that the difficulty is recorded when you start a new exploration, and when a player wins the exploration, this data is no longer available. So you have to merge it within the data frame, which doesn't always work because, maybe someone started a game before the 1st of June and finished it later on. So, yeah. Okay, but actually 10 people have completed the game on impossible difficulty, which is pretty impressive, actually. That's actually really impressive. And 14 people completed it on normal difficulty, and yeah. So I guess these 10 guys, or are really, really good and hardcore players, which is pretty nice. I appreciate that. Okay, now for people who have lost. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. So 200 exploration games were lost. Compared with 14 who were completed on normal difficulty. Yeah. So people do seem to be dying a lot. To be fair, this is of course sort of skewed because, you know, many people just trying the game for the first time will probably fail pretty hard. And also just being destroyed once doesn't necessarily mean that your game is over, because you can just reload it and play it again and still complete it. But this is still sort of steep, to be honest. Okay, exploration win-loss ratio. Okay, actually we do have a table for this. Okay, wait, can I just make a graphic out of this? What would be a good graphic to do this? Maybe it's sort of like a bar graph, but okay, wait a second. Oh, actually I have to install a package for this. Okay, whatever. Wait a second, I just have to figure this out. Okay. How does this thing work again? Okay, well, actually what we're okay, I guess we can use, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this should work. Is what? Didn't really work at all. Wait a second. All right. Okay. So basically, the sum here is the total number of games, exploration games which were lost or won, and the green thing is the number which has been won. Okay, and I'm inclined to think that the proportion has gone up a bit recently. Okay. Yeah, I definitely have to keep track of the difficulty here. Okay, let's have a look at the exploration progression, which basically means how does the ship value increase during a typical exploration run. So basically we start with this sort of small ship, and then the ships get progressively more complex and more expensive, which is nice. And it's also nice that it is sort of like a really nice and clear progression. So after about 30 stars, it is about 6,000. Okay, let's look at the same for the normal difficulty. Oh, okay. For normal difficulty, it seems to be a bit more. Oh, okay, interesting. A bit more problematic. Interesting. So this might be an indication that the game gets a bit too hard on normal difficulty after some point. So maybe the progression here is a bit too hard? The difficulty progression, I mean? Okay. So let's keep that in mind. So, okay, and for these guys, there is not enough information, I guess. Okay. Okay, this is it for impossible difficulty. So apparently players get really relatively expensive relatively soon. Yeah, but keep in mind that this is sort of based on like only a few games, because most players do not choose impossible difficulty, but interesting. Okay, good. So this is now for all the difficulties pulled together. Okay. And this is sort of useless, I guess. Wait a second. Maybe if we do not use the... Start with it rounded. Yeah, this is more like it. Okay. Alles klar, Garion. Mach's gut. Okay. So basically the left plot is for the lower difficulties and the right plot is for harder difficulties, but it's not like super useful, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is actually more confusing than useful, so let's move on. Okay. So the next graph is something I've been working on, but which is not really done yet. No, at least it doesn't really work properly at the moment. Okay, yeah, let's just forget about it. Let's try the next one. Okay. Okay. Okay, interesting. So, okay, so actually I've already made a graph or a table which shows the win and loss percentage for each patch, for each game version. Okay. Okay, but actually I do want to make this into... Okay. Let's define some stuff which we want to do. So first, how can I do it? Okay, so first make good graphical version of win-loss table. And then I also want to I would be interested in graphing, if possible, the win ratio depending on how often the people played the game. If that is possible, I'm not sure. Win ratio dependent, wait a second. Please do not just post links. Win ratio dependent on player experience. Okay. Good. Okay, so now I basically want to have like a graphical version of this table. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. I think I need to transform the data. Okay, so version won and lost. Okay, in a second. Okay. Okay. So we do have like a long version of this thing now. Okay, which should already work. I'm a bit confused why the version does not translate correctly into a string here. It's actually really strange. Respectively, generic functions, deep pass level. Well, I guess we can do the version in a different way. Okay, so I guess we can just leave that out. Alright. And then I guess we can do a bubble plot, I think. Which package was it? It was also in the VCD package? No, it was not. It was in gplots. Oh, okay, which also has to be loaded. Yeah, there's so much spam around, it's occasionally really annoying. Okay. Wait a second. Maybe it works if I do it like this. Okay, I guess it will work if I do it like this. So, version. Okay, this should work better. So let's try it like this. Yeah, now it's correct. Okay, good. And I think... Was it the wrong package again? Wait a second. I think it is a bubble plot what I want. It is not? Wait a second. Have a look at... It's not a bubble plot? What was it then? Wait a second. Scatter plot, band plot, contour plot, matrix, intersection diagram, balloon plot. Okay, okay, good. Okay, balloon plot, whatever. Let's see if it works like this. It does not. Okay, X, Y, Z. I guess X would be wait, what? X, Y, Z. Wait a sec, let me look at my example, what I did here. So we have like a table, okay. Okay, so we need to provide a table. Okay. So I'm sorry, this is like really, really statistical what we are doing today. This is actually, temp1, temp last. Count. Okay. Yeah, that's actually it. That's actually what I want. For sort of random that it almost immediately worked, but it's sort of what I want. No worries, no worries, son. I'm glad that you hang out here at all. Okay, so let me just adjust the labels here, and we're pretty much done with this one. Is it even correct here? No, it needs to be here. C label true. Z label. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, so let's just have a look at this now. And somehow this doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work after all, because it's just like 50% every time. Loop for temp, type by temp, count. Here is proportional temp.version. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, so I guess the order needs to be different. Ah, it's still incorrect. But no, this makes sense, but I don't quite get it. Oh, okay, this graph is already incorrect. Okay, good. Okay, so clearly my mistake. Okay, okay, nice. So this basically gives us a, yeah, basically an impression for how this stuff has progressed. So, one win, one loss. Yeah. And it's almost always more losses than wins, but okay. Okay, now that we have this graph and the table which produces this graph, let me try if I can do this type of graph. Not quite. Contingency table in array form with optional category labels. So I guess this isn't good enough. What's the contingency table? Okay, so at this point it is already too late. Exploration 1, exploration lost, okay. Okay, so I guess in order to make a mosaic plot, which I would like to have, we would have to change the data structure for this one. Okay, so it's not really worth it because we already have a pretty good and descriptive graph here, which is nice. Good. Just can I? Does this work? No, it does not. Okay, good. So, moving on. Research system. So, what are people? What is it? I think this is what people are researching first, or researching mostly. Okay. So micro solar panel is very frequent, and the labels are really awful. Let me just check how I can do that. Plot are horizontal labels. Okay. Okay. LAS equal 1. Okay. Okay, good. I guess we should change the margin, but whatever. Okay, micro solar panel is really popular. Battery is popular. Okay. I guess it makes sense because energy is really useful. Sort, autoloader, sort. Okay. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what I can learn from this, but it's still sort of interesting, I think. Okay, most popular research choices. Okay, it's basically the same in pie chart form. Let me just have a look at what else I can learn from this. Okay, we actually have another graph for this. Okay, let's see it. Okay, this is actually a graph of how much stuff people have researched. Okay, it's a bit strange because okay, so many. Okay, this is sort of stacking, I guess. Yeah, okay. So for some reason, many people are researching really little stuff. Okay, yeah. I'm not entirely sure what this will learn us, but I know how to make it prettier. Yeah, and I also know how to make it more meaningful. Because despite how it looks here, it is sort of stacking up. So if you've researched 30 modules, this will count towards all the previous bars. So it makes sense that it goes down a bit, because, you know, people don't always end up researching everything. And the fact that some points are actually pretty high actually reflects the fact that I only look at data collected after the 1st of June. So if people, you know, just log back in afterwards and research one of the new modules, it will look like this. Okay, good. Let's move on. Performance. Oh, okay. This is median frames per second by player and game mode. Okay. Actually, it's not done yet. Now it's done. Okay. Okay. So basically, this is 60 FPS, the right edge of the yellow bar. And actually in most game modes and for most players, 60 FPS is achieved. There are occasional peaks downwards, especially like really low peaks here, but these are sort of outliers, I guess. Hey, it's pretty safe to assume that these are outliers. Yeah, and the reason why so many people are here at 60 is because, you know, they have vsync locked at 60 and it cannot go any higher. For people for whom it can go higher, it does. But this is actually sort of okay. I'm actually sort of happy with this. I would be sort of unhappy if like many people had like relatively low FPS, but this is actually sort of okay. Yeah, I guess I can turn this into a histogram. It would be useful. Okay, let's do that. What? What? So someone had like 200,000 FPS? What? What? Okay, 133k FPS. Pretty hefty machine, I have to say. It's a pretty hefty machine. Okay, Okay, let's make it like really, really easy. What? Alright. Or maybe histogram is nicer? No. Okay, the vast majority of people are having 55 to 65 FPS. Okay. And yeah, and the fraction of people who have like between 0 and 30, which I consider like worthy of improvement, is relatively low. Okay, so I guess this is sort of reasonable. Okay, let's just make this graph a bit nicer. Yeah, okay. Or maybe... Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, what can I say to performance? Well, I will improve the particle system a bit. I've just started on basically, and this should make it even more fluid in some systems. Okay, but that should solve that. Okay, time spent by players. Yeah, this is... Okay. So this is basically how much time people spend on the day, on the game by day. This was when there was a Steam sale, so that's because we have almost 200 hours played on a single day. Afterwards it goes sort of down. So I guess the average is sort of 1 to 1. So one person playing on average, maybe a bit higher. I mean, definitely higher when you use these outliers to calculate it. Okay, good. Good researchers. Did you just add them all into the bar, or did NASA try out? Okay. Okay, I see. I'm not entirely sure what the cause for this is. The game does use sort of an estimation for the FPS, so maybe it was sort of skewed by, I don't know, maybe one frame being really short or something. I don't know. I don't actually know. Okay. And finally, what are people spending their time on? Okay. Actually, how do I make it show the percentages? It worked before, so why is it gone now? Win ratio. Where did I have the... Okay, so here are percentages. Okay, you have to do it manually. Sort of annoying, but time spent. I guess I can make it here for time spent. Okay, good. Good. All right. 40%. Okay, some of these do not work correctly. Okay. Okay, so let's fix it. All right, Fasan, thanks for joining me, and have a good night. I think I'm also going to wrap up pretty soon, so you're not going to miss on a lot. So how is this done? Mode, test random skirmish, okay. Okay, here it is still correct. Here it is still correct. Okay, and it just gets lost at this point. Names, time spent. Okay, this is not names, it is time spent state. Okay, that's correct now. Okay, 40% in mission, in exploration mission to be precise. 33% in the editor. 10% in the exploration intro or the exploration map. Okay. Exploration test, which is new. Research hangar, evolution modes. Okay, good. It's sort of a good distribution, I think. It doesn't really have any too unexpected, too disturbing insights. Okay, so this is sort of more on the technical side. What are the GPUs which are in use? Okay, so first of all, most people have shader capabilities, and GPU vendor NVIDIA is about half, 1/3 for ATI and a little part for Intel and tungsten graphics. I don't even know. I seriously don't have no idea. I think Xorg is probably Linux-based graphics driver. Intel open source. Okay, whatever. So NVIDIA, shader edited and texture size. Okay, there are actually some systems apparently which do not support 4K textures, which only 2K. But this may also be due to me testing the function. So I'm not too sure. Okay, but most people's computers can handle really big graphics. Okay, so it's sort of useful to know. Performance by GPU. Okay, So basically it's only the Intel guys which are having some trouble. Yeah, Nvidia seems to be pretty consistent here at, wait a second, at 60 FPS, and why is it so strange? Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah. So Nvidia seems to be really consistent, and ATI as well. So it's largely Intel, which is probably like mainboard based graphics, CPU graphics. Okay, good. We also have it by graphics card, which is, well, not too useful, I guess. Or maybe we could figure out what the guy with the 100k FPS was using, but whatever. Okay, yeah. And we're actually almost sort of done. We only have the service left. Some more stuff. Interesting. Okay. And the module popularity, which is new. Yeah. Okay, so it's still a sort of a bit to go, so I'm actually inclined to do it in next week's stream. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up today's stream now. I'm going to upload the patch for the stuff which we've been doing. And yeah, I'm pretty much done for today. So, thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, I will pretty definitely stream again next week. And until then, see you and